give a
I think
fuck.
that's what's staring at your teeth.
Yeah. Oh, well, they're fake though.
No, my tits.
Right, so guys, welcome back to the Pop My Cherry podcast. So this has been like, I'd say nearly a year and a half.
Yeah,
It's been a long
it's been a
time,
long time
coming
coming.
around. Now you have stepped in whenever we had Andy on, Andy Lee. People could hear you in the background.
I was in the background.
I think it's time
piping
that
up.
you have your own moment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bigger than Andy. I need to have my own moment.
Yes, I really. This is gonna be like a gay man and like a female porn star, like in a
We love
podcast
it.
episode. Like, because you've done so many podcasts, but it's always been like with like, I suppose, straight.
Yeah,
Like,
straight
it's all, you
men.
know what you're nearly going into, that type of.
And do you know what? It's been very. They want to challenge it.
Yeah.
It's been very. It's never been free flowing. They want to be like, why do you do this? Why
Yeah.
do you do that? It's always coming down and sort of like, other than the comedy ones.
Yes.
It's always a very harsh lens and like, I
Yeah.
want to question you and I want to really know behind why you do what you do. And they're coming
Yeah.
down in a misogynistic, condescending way.
Yeah, and
They
but,
are.
But then, do you know, I've always wondered. I find this fascinating. So obviously, like the documentary that was on Netflix, like the Manosphere, and it's about like
Oh,
HS
yeah.
Tiki Talkie and all them podcasters. Like a lot of them are very much like, you know, whether they're like Christian infiltrated or it's always this kind of like this like masculinity, which is always they always seem to get like younger women or women from like adult entertainment industry
Yeah.
or like OnlyFans, and it's always this part where it's like the woman is the bait and they're always trying to put the woman down.
Do you know what? Whenever me and Ryan watched it, and whenever we were watching it, I was like, everything they're so against. They're misogynistic. I mean,
Yeah.
they can't get their way around it. They are misogynistic. They
Yeah.
hate women at their core. But everything they do is for women. It's to get women.
Yeah.
And it's like you're so confused because you're doing all this thing like against women and be the man, and it's like that's not what masculinity is.
Yeah.
You know, like masculinity is actually submissive.
Yeah.
Like men are naturally more submissive. That's why armies are men.
Yeah.
That they are more naturally submissive. Women are more leaders. If you look at yin yang and the masculinity and the femininity, you have to have a balance. So you have to have both.
Yeah.
But the femininity is chaotic and dark, and it's not this love and light. It's not.
Yeah.
Femininity is chaotic, but these guys in the manosphere, what they seem to do is they take in young girls that are hungry for clout,
Yeah.
want to be seen on TV, and that's fine. They're
Yeah.
They're not interviewing, or they're not bringing on women like me that actually have an education that
Yeah.
can stand up and go, do you know what? I'm actually going to question your views, and I'm actually going to sit here and I'm educated. I can talk about this.
Yeah, and
you know, they're not going to bring on people that can stand on their own 2 feet. They want to. It's funny because they hate women. They say they don't, but they do. But they use women for everything. They need women so much for everything that they do. It's like if you didn't have us, you would have fuck all. You would have nothing. Excuse my language. But you would have nothing without us women. It's so
It's
funny.
true. It's so true, and it's. But then, have you ever felt that you've been in a position where you felt like, oh, like, because this is the thing. I think the biggest misconception with, I suppose, anybody that works in like any form of like adult entertainment, whether it's cam, whether it's glamour, porn, whatever it might be, I think it's. I suppose because it's very highly sexualized, a lot of people then you're automatically objectified by society. So I think a lot of the time people nearly think you maybe like you're not like articulated or you don't have a point of view or you're not intellectual. You know, there's
Yeah.
always a stereotype that
Do you
comes
know
with
what?
like that line of work.
The most
Have you felt
worry-
that people have underestimated you in that way?
Oh, yes.
So they've got you into
massively.
their podcast platform
Do you know
thinking that
what?
you're going to be that.
People view the world through their own lens. People
Yeah.
can only view the world through what they know. So when people are really ignorant and they do view me through that lens, well, that's not me. That's their own lens, and that's
Yeah.
them being uneducated. That's them being ignorant. I don't care the way people view me. But yeah, there's this sort of undertone of always. People always think you're dumb. That's sort of the biggest misconception is that you're dumb, but it's the opposite in
Yeah.
the industry. It's a business, you know, and I think I was going to actually make a point there, Jerry, whenever
Yeah.
you were saying about being objectified. I think that, you know, I objectify myself in work, but the most worrying thing about this conversation is that people don't understand consent.
Yeah.
It all comes down to consent.
Yeah.
I consent to be objectified at work.
Okay.
When I'm working, when you're
Yes.
viewing my porn, when you're watching my stuff, I consent to that because that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you cannot objectify me just because I objectify myself in work.
Yeah.
That's where the line is crossed. People don't get that consent. It's like I consent to this at one
Yeah.
stage, not at the other stage, and you can't cross that boundary.
that's-
That's mine.
And because it's nearly because you make that shot, people nearly can't fathom that
They
you.
can't
Yeah.
get it that you're this multifaceted creature with
Yeah.
like all these other things, because
Yeah.
once I went into porn, for
Yeah.
me, you know, people were very much like, you're a bad mother, you're
Yeah.
obviously on drugs, you know, I've never took a drug in my life, and people
Mhm.
cannot seem to fathom that.
Aye.
They're just like, what? That I'm uneducated, that it was my last resort. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, most of the women in this industry that are very successful in the industry are actually very smart women, because it is such a cutthroat, very hard industry to crack. You
Yeah.
have to be educated.
Yeah.
You can't just come in here willy-nilly. And if you
Yeah.
do, and you do it for the wrong reasons, you'll be chewed up and spat out.
Yeah. So how did you? So tell me this then. If we go a wee bit back, how did you get into it? So what was the introduction? Was it glamour, or what was like the beginning? I suppose.
So I started modelling at 15.
Uh-huh.
And when I turned 18, like you, Jerry, I just thought Katie Price and Jodie Marshall,
Yeah,
they
we
were just,
love-
we love it. I love it.
I've
Love
always
it.
been so.
Yeah, fascinated.
And I suppose, you know, we could, the thing is, this conversation, like, you could take so many different
Yeah.
dives, because it's that part where it's like, you know, sexuality was always very much in the mainstream in like the early
Yeah,
noughties,
of
and, you know,
course.
footballers' wives, Jodie
Yeah.
Marsh, you know, Pamela
Wanks.
Anderson,
I
like,
love it.
loved all that. But, you know, very much, I suppose, when you're like an adolescent, you're desensitized. You know, like say
Yeah.
for instance, if you see a billboard and it's maybe like a woman in her bra and pants, I wouldn't bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, like I suppose the human eyes just were so much more, because things are so much more accessible in the mainstream, where it desensitizes us a wee bit.
Oh yeah, we're massively.
But you were the same
desensitised.
as me. You always found it you were fascinated by
I
it.
found it fascinating. So when I turned 18, I mean,
Yeah.
I took my kit off straight away.
Yeah.
I was like, glamour
Love
modeling.
it. Love
I'm gonna be
it.
Katie Price, and I had no boobs then. So like I was
Okay.
completely flat chested. So I was like, I'm gonna be this new era. But I
Yeah.
always wanted a boob job. So obviously
Okay.
I saved, got a boob job.
Yeah.
Then I was a glamour model, and then I had kids.
Right.
And do you know what, Jerry? I went the opposite way. I was
Really?
like, I need to do what society thinks I should do.
Okay.
I was in a really bad relationship. I had
Yeah.
2 kids, and I was like, I'm gonna do the right thing,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna stay, and I'm gonna be this mum. And I
Yeah.
started being frumpy. I wasn't me anymore. I wasn't, you know, our sexual energy is literally our life force. You know, people
Yeah.
have to understand that that's how we're here.
Yeah.
And for me, I went away from all that, and I
Mhm.
literally depressed myself. Like I was
Oh my
just
God.
not myself, and I was like, do you know what? If I need to show my kids that you can do anything you want in life, I really need to be myself. I always say,
Yeah.
if you want to see the change, you have to be the change. So
Mhm.
for me, I literally one day was like, I always wanted to do porn.
Really?
Always wanted to
Really?
do porn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied TV and film whenever I was like at tech when I was like 16.
Uh-huh.
And I just studied porn. I was like, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Like the psychology behind it, like why people go into it, everything. I just find it fascinating. And I looked at it like art.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is beautiful. This is amazing. So
Yeah.
then I obviously had the kids, went away, was really successful, had my own gym, powerlifting champion. I had everything. You
Yeah.
know, I had the money, I had everything. And I still wasn't happy. And I
Right.
was like, I sat with myself in a meditation session, and I said, if I didn't have to weigh the weight of the world's opinion on me, what would I do? And straight away I was like, I need to do porn. Yeah. And I
It's kind of funny that you discovered that in meditation, though, isn't it? Like,
Buddhist meditation.
I do love that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I get it. And it is that thing. It's like we don't realize that a lot of the things that hold us back from who we're truly, who we're truly meant to be or what we truly want to do, is the opinion of other
Other
people,
people,
especially where
of
we're
course.
from. Like it's and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people like the differentiation. Like OnlyFans is one thing. OnlyFans is like a platform which can be a variety of
Yeah,
things. So some
everything,
people it's
yeah.
more glamour, so it's a bit more subjective,
Yeah.
or like, you know, suggestive nudity.
Implied nude, like
softcore,
and do you know
you
what?
know,
There's
it's-
artists on there,
Yeah.
paintings, there's
Yeah.
PTs, there's
Yeah.
all sorts. OnlyFans is a platform for everything.
And it's nearly once you get the OnlyFans title, I do think you get like, oh well, you must do porn, but there is a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you then came to the realization that you wanted to do it. So
OnlyFans-
how did that transition? Did
I
you
l-
soft, like, because a lot of people, I think, is it this thing where you hear a lot of the time they start off and it's like, oh, like it's going to be lingerie, and then it's like, right, well, maybe move into like maybe like a hand bra, and then it's like, okay, like, and then the next minute it's like, here's my cat. You know. You know.
I mean, I've 8 cats. My cat had kittens this morning.
Oh really?
Yeah. I know.
Like an actual cat, by the way. Not a pussy.
I don't have 8 pussies, no. No, for me, it was straight away. Like,
Yeah.
get me bent over, get something on my ass, like, show the people. No, straight away. I knew I wanted to do
Love it.
porn.
Really?
Yeah, straight away. I was like, obviously, my business model was you start off, you don't go and give them everything.
No, I've always said that.
But-
Yeah, 100%.
But it's not a good business model to just go out there and do absolutely everything.
No.
But for me, I was like, nah, I wanna get fucked on camera and show everybody.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah. See, I look at it like art, though. I was
So do
like,
I, yeah.
I was like, this is amazing, such expression. I was like, this is beautiful. So for me, I don't look at porn in the same lens that everybody else does.
Okay.
Not everybody else, but a lot of the people do.
Yeah.
Especially as you said, where we're from. It's a very sort of backward Christian place. So
Yeah.
Christianity is sort of the main thing here that
Yeah, and we've had conversations on this podcast about that kind of more recently, and it's, I suppose here we're very small-minded in the sense of like, I think to move into porn, I think is already like, I don't think it's as big a deal as it would have been maybe say like 10 years ago, but I think here it's a big deal.
yeah,
You
I
know
mean,
it is. And I think you definitely like you had to go through like a lot of shit
Yeah.
with that part.
So I was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it was the BBC called me a trailblazer, and I have hung on to that because I'm like, I love that. I'll have it in my bio.
Yeah.
I'll have it on my headstone when I die. Trailblazer for porn in Northern Ireland. Yeah, whenever I decided to do OnlyFans, and then I went into porn, people lost their fucking minds.
Really?
Yeah, people rang social services, the police.
Oh, you see. Like,
The schools get involved. I mean, everybody in my town knows me, didn't give a fuck. They were just very much like, we know who you are as a person, your job is completely irrelevant.
Yeah. Okay.
My kids, you know, again, they've never been bullied. Everybody was all this sort of. I've done it now for 3 years, and people were very much like, "Oh my god, what if they get bullied? Like what? Blah
Yeah.
blah blah." They still haven't got bullied. Touch wood to this day.
Yeah.
I'm also a professional bare knuckle fighter, so if my
Yeah.
kids get bullied, I'll show up at your door.
I didn't think of
Let's see. So, like, I am psychotic, so people, you know, don't even bother.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of shit. There was times where it got hard.
Yeah.
And I remember I phoned my daddy, and I was like, "Daddy, like, this is getting too much." And he literally just said to me, it was one of the best things he's ever said. He was like, "Megan, every woman in history that's ever changed anything has probably sat where you are and questioned, being like, is this worth it?"
Yeah.
And my mission in life was just, no, I need to keep going. Things need to change. If you want to see the change, you have to be the change. So for me, I was like, fuck what everybody says and does. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep going. People thought I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
People were like, oh my God, she's doing porn now. It was first OnlyFans, then it was porn. And it was like, wow, she's losing her mind. And it was
Yeah.
like, no, that's through your lens, through your fucked up lens.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm coming into myself
Yeah.
and owning my power.
Yeah.
When you own your power as a woman, or even as a gay man,
Yeah. Yeah.
patriarchy fucking hates it.
Yeah.
We're not meant to do that.
Yeah.
We're meant to be ashamed
Yeah.
and guilty and feel all these horrible feelings. And it's like, once
Yeah.
you step out and go, this is who I am and I'm fucking proud, people can't have it.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I'm not proud of who I am, so how the fuck can you be?
Yeah.
Fucking
And
hell.
I know. Oh my god. That was
did
like
you say?
the fucking
Fucking
hell.
Ah, fucking hell.
God, that even touched me. Touched me. Sorry. But the thing
I
is,
think that's so true. Like,
it is so true.
Yeah.
But this is, do you know the part that really pisses me off? It's like so I'll tell you my personal view
Yeah.
on, I suppose, porn is it's like everything. Overindulgence things can be problematic and things can have benefit. Do you know what I mean? And every area, every industry has room for improvement.
Yeah.
You know, do I think it needs to be accessible in the wider mainstream? Personally, no, just with, and I think you likely would agree with that in regards to like there
Yeah.
should be certain gate walls or things to protect, you know,
Yes.
certain ages.
Yep.
You know, I think it can, like the psychological development of like teenagers, I don't think that should be their first introduction to
mean,
sex.
It's 18 for a reason.
Yeah.
It should be, I even think it should be put up to 21.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I myself won't work with anybody under 25
Yeah.
because their prefrontal cortex isn't developed enough
Yeah.
for them to actually make the decision
Yeah.
to go into porn. So I don't
Yeah.
agree with people under 25 even
No.
doing it or even doing OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Because it is one of those things that once it's out there, it's out there. But there definitely needs to be something to sort of protect. And I'm a mother. You know,
Yeah.
it comes down to parenting.
Yeah.
That's where, you know, people will blame me for, you know, porn addictions and all the rest. And I'm like, oh, of course it's not my fault.
Yeah.
You can indirectly blame me, that's fine. But
Yeah.
too much of anything's bad.
Yes.
So very much it needs to be a discussion in the homes. Parents need to step forward and go,
Yeah.
this needs to be in place for my kids not to be able to see this and
Yeah.
not to be able to see that. I mean, I think last time Jack and Andy were talking about they brought it in that like Pornhub or something was.
Yes, there was like
yeah,
you have to verify, you have to like do an
Yeah.
ID check now, and
Yeah. And I don't think it's about.
which I have.
So have I. I'm
I'm
on
back
Pornhub.
in. I'm over 30.
Credit card ID sent.
National insurance. There you go. It's like,
UTR tax number.
no,
here you go.
but it's the thing. What were we saying? You were saying about that, but what was it? It's the thing with it though is when you look at, say, like if I look at me as a teenager, like, so the problem is there's not enough education.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sex is such a
'Cause
taboo subject.
it's too taboo.
Yeah.
Because like look at the other things that like are common addictions.
Yeah.
Drinking, drugs,
Yeah.
and look at how many campaigns we have. Like
Yeah.
you can't watch a TV show
Yeah.
without there being an ad for drink addiction.
Yeah.
Even if there's ads for betting and stuff, it's gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing because we're
Wank
so
responsibly.
wank
Yeah.
responsibly. Exactly. There's nothing.
You
that-
go blind. Fuck's sake. Oh, yeah.
you
By
you need
the way,
to go.
anybody listening, you'll get moments like this.
I have ADHD.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
see
show
him.
You need to go up to Stormont and pitch them the wank
Yeah.
responsibly
Fucking no
campaign.
bother.
100%.
I go up, get the tits out and I'll be like, oh.
It is one of those things that
Yeah.
yes, there's toxic elements of it, and like there
Yeah.
there is people addicted, but there isn't enough education.
There's not,
to-
yeah. And the thing is, if you're not getting education, if we're all pretending like this whole, like, say, for instance, in school or whatever, where it's like, oh, like, people don't have sex because you have to wait until you're married, but people are. And it's like, well, if they're not being educated about it, where are they going to go and find their information? They're going to find it in porn.
Yeah.
And I don't think porn is a true. Would you agree with this? Or
Yeah.
my opinion is, I don't think porn is a true representation of sex in regards to
Well,
intimacy.
to be honest, I've always had sex like porn.
Okay.
Yeah, and
yeah, no,
I-
and if, yeah,
And
yeah.
me and Ryan have discussed this, and we have sex very much like porn.
Okay.
And obviously we're making porn now, but it's
Yeah.
literally just us having sex. So it's obviously very different to working with people.
Yes.
But for me, but again, it's because I seen porn.
Yeah.
And I went, well, that's how you have to do it, and that's how it's
Okay.
done. So I enjoyed very much being the performer and doing all of that. Did I
Yeah.
really enjoy it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because it was such a performance for me, and that's
Yeah.
obviously why I went into porn, and because I loved that performance and I loved
Yeah.
the acting. But it is not. That's not how sex is
Yeah.
in the normal sort of relationship. They don't even know where the clit is. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they don't even spend any time in porn doing
Yeah.
anything to a woman or doing anything to a man. It's just very
Yeah.
much like boom, boom, boom. And then obviously I work behind the scenes. It's all about angles.
Yeah.
Nothing you see in porn is real.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because like shoots last hours and stuff.
I've heard
but,
that
but
before.
it's like-
How long would an average shoot last?
fuck, a couple of hours.
Really?
Yeah, like it could last a couple of hours if production's in.
Yeah.
If you're just doing
Because
like
there's
a
being
lab.
a right.
Oh,
Okay.
constantly. There's light changes. There's, you have to change angles. You're like, cut. We need to do that again because that wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Cut. We need to do that. Or, I was doing a scene recently. I was a dominatrix, and obviously we were doing. I'll not say what we were doing, but obviously there
Okay.
was a bit of a mess, and we have
Yeah.
to cut. We have to change angles. We have to clean up. We have to make sure everybody check in with everybody.
Yeah.
And go like, are you okay? There's breaks.
Yeah.
People sometimes whenever you're doing sort of a really hardcore scene, you have to do breaks and you have to check in and
Yeah.
be like, right, take 5, take a breather, go outside, go vape, go do
Yeah.
whatever you need to do. It can be hours. Like my last scene,
Yeah.
one of my last ones, the sort of dominatrix stuff that I done, it was all day.
Really?
Like it was 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, like that's from you land into the studio.
Yeah.
You're there 4 or 5 hours.
Mhm.
Like it is long. And it's not glamorous. It's not what people think. I mean, it looks amazing.
So, but there's always this thing. It's like people say it's not glamorous, but then I think when people say it's not glamorous, I think what you mean by that is like it's hard work.
Oh, it's hard
But
work.
I think when people always say it's not as glamorous as I think people's brains automatically go, then it must be CD.
Oh yeah.
Do you
of
get what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
And
suppose
I
that is
truthfully,
really-
so obviously I've I know yourself and like that time that we done the episode with Andy, and it's like and I've had friends that have worked in like adult entertainment in different ways. It's very much like it really is a job. It's like
it's a job,
and
it is. It's
you know-
beautiful. It's a really, really lovely industry. The people are the nicest people you'll meet. there isn't. I've never met anybody seedy.
Yeah.
You know, I've never met anybody in the industry that's horrible.
Yeah.
I know I always make the joke about it. I'm like, everybody's riding everybody anyway, so everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Everybody's having sex, so they're buzzing all the time anyway. Like, there's no
Yeah.
need for them to be an arsehole.
Yeah.
But it's not a seedy industry. I mean, everything is very above board. You have your certs. You know, you have to be every 28 days STI or every 14
Yeah.
days every STI test it to a very high standard. You go in, you meet people. It's like literally coming in here today,
Yeah.
sitting down. You know, you have your sheets, your ID, your consent forms. You've all that.
Yeah.
It's a lovely industry, and it's a very, very welcoming, open, expressive industry.
Yeah. And you know what I always find so funny and so ironic about it, and this is the part where I would actually defend majority of people in this industry, is anybody I've ever met would never judge anybody. Would never judge anybody. So inclusive.
Really inclusive, yeah.
You know, and even the most
massively.
masculine men, and they're just like
Yeah.
teddy bears, so nice, so sweet, so kind, so,
Yeah.
you know, thoughtful, endearing, and then, but yet they're so judged. It's shit. Like, I get it if you're not about it. If it's not for you,
of
it's not
course.
for you.
Yeah, that's
you know.
100%. But the men in the industry and the women in the industry are going to be the most confident people you'll ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
I obviously am in two industries, the fighting industry and the porn
We'll
industry.
talk about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I always pull the comparison of fighters
Yeah.
and porn stars are very alike.
Yeah.
They are the most confident people you'll ever meet.
Uh-huh.
They'll walk into a room and they'll not feel the need for their ego. They'll not feel any of that. They're very, very chilled out, really comfortable, inclusive characters that'll just sit down and be like, talk to me, what's the crack? You know, how
Yeah.
are you today? They don't have this macho bravado because they don't lack it. Anybody
They've
that
nothing
puts
to
that
prove.
out is like, they're lacking it inside and they feel this need to be like, oh, I need to show this and I need to show that. The men and the women in the industry aren't like that.
No.
They know themselves. They know themselves better than most.
I know, and that's I think that's the part that I think a lot of people can't realize is because, you know, obviously you get like a tough time online, and it's always do you find it always seems to be meals though, which I
Yeah, of
find
course it
strange.
is. Yeah, of course it is.
Because how would you find the female response? I suppose because I think before. This is the thing when we talk about misogyny and objectification of women. You know, when we go back to like the ban of page 3, I think that a lot of that came from like the feminist movement. But what a lot of people didn't realize with that is most of the photographers were majority of them were females. The stylists were females.
Yeah.
The models were females. Makeup artists, and that was so many people that were put out of work
Yeah.
by a feminist movement.
Feminist.
And fair enough, the career is, I suppose, it's for the male or like a sexual gaze.
Yeah.
But that was their work, and you know, do you know it's?
I mean,
there's something a
feminism's-
bit. I find that a bit contradictory.
Of course it is. I've had arguments on the radio with a feminist. I actually changed her mind.
Okay.
Because I was like, what you're saying, like, you're saying it's not empowerment. I'm like, empowerment is literally the art of being able to decide for yourself. I was like, so who the fuck are you to say that it's not empowerment for me?
Yeah.
Like, literally read the definition of empowerment on in the dictionary. I'm like, it literally is up to anybody themselves to decide. So I argue that it's actually against feminism to try and judge somebody else or to try and say that you need to do this or you need to do that. You're not a feminist then.
Yeah.
That's not what feminism is. Feminism is rights for all.
Yeah.
Man, woman, whatever the fuck. Like,
Yeah.
it's everybody is included.
Yeah.
Every gender, every sex, every whatever, every sexuality, whatever the fuck, you're all included in feminism. You know, this doesn't just stop at genders. It goes into racism. It goes
Yeah.
into everything.
Yeah.
It's rights for all.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that. Like I suppose a lot of people nearly think because they're projecting, it's the patriarchy again. When we go back into that,
internalized misogyny. A lot of these women don't realize they're actually looking at life through an internalized misogynistic lens.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. They just need educated on it, and they need to listen
Yeah.
to the sex workers, and they need to listen to the people that they're trying to oppress, because therefore you're actually still oppressing your sisters and your brothers that want to go into the sex
Yeah.
work and sex industry. You're still oppressing them
Yeah.
by saying that you're going to ban this and you're going to ban that. It's not healthy. It's a very outdated, uneducated movement to be like that. I haven't seen that in quite a while.
Yeah, no.
But
Yeah.
I would argue quite a bit with people like that.
And then you find with the men, would it always be just the typical like?
I think with men,
I think it's the typical. Because I get it from the men in a different way, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck off, Ian.
I find that men that comment on negatively about me or about my
Yeah.
appearance or what I do, would spunk in their pants if I touched them. They hate me because they can't have me. That's why they hate me.
So
Because they can't have me and they'll never be able to come near me.
There's like a
I mean,
denial of access.
Yeah, of course. And that's why they feel so upset about it. It's like they always do this hypothetical, I would never touch you. Mate, who the fuck said you had the chance?
Yeah.
Like, stop making up fucking fake stories in your head to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
It's insecurity. It's this idea of like, oh, I need to be superior to you by saying this to you. It's like, oh, sit down.
Yeah.
I'd pat you in the wee head and you'd fucking spunk. Shut up, little bitch. Bitch made boy.
Do you know what's so funny though? It's like you're always doing so well, and then you go rogue. And
Sorry, I can't
doesn't
help
do
it.
those
I can't help it.
You're a naughty girl.
But that's very much the energy from that Louis Theroux
Yeah.
documentary. Like
It's
them people,
all
the
making you
American
sick.
ones, I thought as well. Like the ones that get those girls
Mm-hmm.
on their podcasts, and it's like they hit them with all these random like bullshit, like
Mm-hmm.
not even real facts,
Aye.
and then go like, "Oh, so you should be ashamed of yourself."
Yeah.
and
And I'm not.
yeah, and it's like young vulnerable girls, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah, I mean, they're never going to have me on there. Do you know
No.
that
Yeah.
actually cancel culture? So we were watching it the other night,
Uh-huh.
and was it Justin, the fella Justin was on?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They wanted me onto a podcast to argue with him. Now, I didn't go over for the podcast. I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They wanted me to come on to argue with him. And
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
oh, yeah, I'll do it. But I never got over. I think it was like they wanted me the next day. And obviously I couldn't go over. It's like short notice. But I was like, oh, yeah, I'll come on and argue. Like, I'll wrap them fucking up in bits. But they won't have a woman like me
Yeah.
that will stand on their fucking
Because
shit.
it goes against the narrative of what they're trying to like
They're
put
just,
into
they
like the
just
main.
want these dumb blondes. And I mean,
That's not
yeah, and dumb blondes aren't a thing either. That's also another stereotype. But they want these young girls that aren't educated, that can't
Yeah.
stand up and don't. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on podcasts with
Yeah.
all these men around me now. I'm
Yeah.
not intimidated because I'm like, shut the fuck up, I'm each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Punch fucking head of you. But like these girls get onto these podcasts and they feel intimidated because they're
Yeah.
coming down their throat at them, and it's
Yeah.
like, what?
It is
It's
horrible.
fucking
Like
horrible. And I'm like, get me on there.
yeah.
well, there was that case,
Aye.
the one over in England. Remember?
The reality check, and was it
I
Rebecca?
was on
What's
it.
Rebecca's name? You were on it.
Goodwin. I was on
Yes.
it, yeah, and I was arguing
That was
with them after
disgraceful
that.
the way they treated her.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
I actually went on to, so whenever they done that, I was on with them live the night after, or like 2 nights after, because I called them out.
Yeah.
I was like, you just weren't like that to me. Why were you not like that to me, but you were like it to her? Like, it's fucking awful because you go into their house,
Yeah.
it's Schwann's house, you go into his house, it's all these men just sitting about, you're the only girl in the room,
Yeah.
and they're all just getting at you. I had to laugh with them because there was no problem. Like, I was just there for clout. I didn't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
100%. Yeah.
Pardon me, but the way they treated Rebecca was disgusting, and it's like their arguments are so flawed.
Yeah.
Like,
I like it.
these manosphere ones want you to believe that behind the scenes they're living these lives that they preach about, and it's like, no, you're not.
That's
No,
all.
you're not.
That's all insecurity.
So I suppose if you don't mind me asking, so say for instance, like, you know, like obviously sometimes I find, like, say you've seen Bonnie Blue do interviews and she really will not break that fourth wall
Yeah.
of like you know, we know what it is, but like she'll not break the character
she
because
doesn't break character.
she knows that's the selling point, I guess, of her business. But like, see what they're doing is a similar kind of thing, only so harmful. Like, are they not? Is that who they are? Do you
That's
think?
not who they are. That is
Really?
not who they are.
They,
Not
it's
at
just
all.
rage. Do you think it's like a rage bait?
It's a rage bait thing.
Really?
They're all the exact same.
Yeah.
They like. There's so many stories I could tell you that about. They date the girls that they bring onto the show.
Yeah.
These OnlyFans models that they hate.
Yeah.
They'll be sitting at home with them the next night, and it's like they're all liars. They only do it to just spite hate.
Yeah.
They just want to make these wee boys, and I do call them wee boys because that's all they are, want to do anything to make themselves famous and to grow clout. And the likes of Bonnie Blue, she does whatever she wants, and I'm like, yeah, go for it. But she's not bringing down other people doing it. She's literally just doing whatever the fuck she wants, publicity stunts, all the rest.
Yeah.
Fair play to her. I'm like, go on ahead, do what you want. But these boys are bringing in women because they can't make anything out of themselves just being men.
Mm-hmm.
They need to bring in women because women are the selling point. And the best way to do it is all these incel cultures and whatever they have online. It's such a massive, broad spectrum of people and such a massive, like, there's millions of them, billions, if not billions, of people on these forums who hate women that's their target audience.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting at home in their mum's basement and that's their audience. So they will sell to that grand scheme of people
Yeah.
because there's so much money there to be made to preaching to these people. And it's
Yeah.
like, you don't even believe the shit they're fucking saying.
It's scary though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like, it's funny because then this is the thing. It's like when we talk about like occupations and career paths, and people have so much to say about a porn star, right? And I'm like, I'd call that highly. If we're going on like the conversation of morality, that's like, you know, poisoning like even I even say, you know, and people very much like, oh my god, like I've lost like 15 pounds and I can make it, like, you know, and personal trainers, personal trainers that always send you messages in like January, like, hey, and it's like, fuck off, okay, it was Christmas. Hey, seen your recent pic, do you want to lose 3 kg or whatever the fuck, I don't know what weight is, pounds.
Cheeky.
But it's like, it's just like taking advantage of the impressionable.
Yep.
And I don't think that's fair.
No,
and whenever
of
I say
course
about like,
it's
I'm very sex positive.
Yeah.
I think sex workers should have the same equality as anybody else in any working profession. They face so many adversities and discrimination, which I don't think is fair. They're not hurting, as long as they're not hurting and harming anybody. Some can be harmful, like I will say that.
Of course.
And some things shouldn't be in mainstream because it's accessible to the impressionable.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's one thing. But what that is a different thing. That's preying on, like, you know, these young guys, and they think this is what you need to be masculine. This is the way that you're meant to treat
The
women,
word
and you're
has
meant to
it,
be
yeah.
derogatory and misogynistic and this and that. But then they're just taking all the money from it. It's just the world we
word
live in.
has it.
It's this very scary world we live
It's a
in.
scary world, and they have it all wrong. The world has it all wrong.
Yeah.
And I think when you're tapped into spirituality the way that I would be,
Yes.
you see it differently. You know, I see it on the grand scheme. I see it in such a different level.
Yeah.
That I'm like, the world is so fucked.
Yeah.
It's so fucked. And it's not Christianity, sorry. Religions like Christianity and Islam and whatever, they oppress the female, they oppress women. They're just very much against it. I always say, so obviously my degree's in philosophy and psychology. And the philosophy part of it, we studied the Virgin Mary and Christianity and all that sort of thing. Different religions, Buddhism, all that sort of thing. And when you see how far back it goes to hating women,
Really?
it's scary. It's like, this all started with men being so out, like, men hate the fact, they call it women envy. Men hate, not obviously all men, but men in the beginning of time hated the fact that women brought life into the world. You know, women were looked at like goddesses. But everything changed when religion sort of started to come into play. God was a man. God's not a man. God, for me, is the universe. It's for me, God's not a person. God is all of us. We are all source.
Yeah.
We're everything. It's the
would relate to that,
universe. You know, so if I just talk about God, I don't talk about the Christian God or anybody's God. I talk about all of us being source. I talk about source.
You see, we've had conversations, I guess, before about this. It's scary, isn't it? So, like, obviously, like, you've converted to Buddhism.
Yeah.
What would be? Because I wouldn't know much about it, but I feel like the whole, like, the karmic kind of, you know, if you do good, and I'm more about like energies. If you're a good energy, I can really feel a bad energy.
Yeah,
If
of
something's dark,
course,
I can
yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
What made you gravitate towards that? I suppose in the midst of all of, like, when you look at, like, because this is the thing, it's like, you know, religions came up quite a bit, and it is that sensitive conversation. I think even you saying that, my chest is nearly going
I know,
tight.
I can tell.
Aye.
I can tell everybody in the room is quiet. They're like,
fuck.
can
But
we
it-
say that?
But it's not even about can you say that. It's more that part where it's like you feel it's a strange one, and it's like you could turn around and talk about anything in sex work, and I wouldn't even blink.
Yeah.
But that makes me go tight. I don't know
Northern
why.
Ireland
It's just
as well, though. Religion
it's
is the backbone of our country, and we are such a divided country that it's like if you say anything about religion, it's like,
yeah.
oh shit, have I said that? Am I going to offend somebody?
Yeah.
For me, I don't give a fuck who I offend. I'm so past it. I
Yeah,
don't
no, and
care who
I really
offend.
respect that about you. Yeah.
I don't care. I will never. My intention is
You're
never
not
to
to hurt
offend.
anybody. Yeah.
But if what I say offends you, go and take your face for a shite. Don't care. Don't care. Sorry, I just can't behave.
But I get your point of view, and the thing is, it's like because there's a lot of, even say for instance, if we're looking like mainstream, like, you know, like a lot of now, like say like, you know, like say razor companies, there's a company Estrid, and like their whole thing is about nearly like embracing, like, you know, say like females will have an armpit hair, and that's a whole movement in itself
Yeah.
now, and you
I
know,
think it's
kind of
amazing because it's like women are embracing their bodies again, and they're embracing not being juvenile.
There's this kind of like standard that's been like you know, installed in women that you have to look this way and you have to be this way and you have to, like, you know,
beauty
like,
standards are fucked.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah, don't be too loud, don't be too this, don't be too that there, but be sexual, but don't be too sexual. Don't be sexual around other people, be sexual with me. And it's all this, everything's just trying to nearly just like, it's scary,
and
like,
that's
isn't
why
it?
you have to, as a woman or as a man, you have to decide for yourself what you want to be, and then you are gonna get your shit, but fuck the people.
Yeah.
Like, I tell my kids, I'm like, it doesn't matter how crazy it sounds to the people. I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger that said that, like, you have to do what's right for you. It doesn't matter if it sounds crazy to the people. Who gives a fuck what the people think?
Yeah.
You have to do what's right for you. As long as you're not hurting anybody else,
Yeah.
life is yours for the taking.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do.
No, you're so right. Can I ask you this though?
Yeah.
And I don't know, has anybody ever asked you this on a podcast? Like, I think it's always like, so obviously, you know, like your career is very like polarized, and then I think people will always have loads of questions with it. But like, I can differentiate, like, I'm a performer, do you know,
Yeah.
and I get the whole like the exhibitionist element of it.
Yeah.
But who is Meghan away from that? Like, how would you describe like your characteristics as, so say for instance, like, because say for there's like a wall up sometimes with me, or I
Yeah.
have to project, or I have to maybe, you know, like stamp that foot a wee bit harder. But like say in the cam, in your environment, like how would you describe yourself as a person, I suppose? Do you know?
Meghan O'Neill is a brand. You know, Meghan O'Neill is a brand.
I'm getting Oprah here. I'm like trying to dig, and she's like, "You're like, I'm not breaking."
No, do you know what? I'm very open with who I am. Meghan O'Neill is a brand, and
Yeah.
but that is sort of the hard thing about that is that that's also my real name. So it's like when
Right.
I come in here, you know, there's no. I used to be Sky Fox. I used to be Meg Rhino. None of them were sticking. It was
Okay.
very much everybody knew me in the fighting career as well, or in the fighting world as Meghan O'Neill. So I was like, fuck it. If I need people to search me online, they need to find me. That was
Yeah.
why I just kept my own name.
Yeah.
For more views and more clicks and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But me at home, I mean, I'm sitting in the jogging bottoms. I'm sitting with my hair up. Like, there's
Yeah.
not a bit of makeup on. Me at home is a completely different character. I am very, Ryan can say if this is true or not, very, I mean, I'm not calm. Am I calm? Maybe. I'm very patient.
You said
the kids.
you said before, actually, personally, you're very prudish.
Yeah, well, actually, do you know what? Yeah. So
Really?
even when I was saying to you today, Jerry, about like my outfit, like I don't wear this shit ever.
No,
like,
that's
this is very
you.
uncomfortable for me. To
Really?
wear this
Oh.
sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's very not uncomfortable as in
Yeah.
I've been forced to wear this or
No,
whatever.
yeah, sorry.
I mean, Jerry sent me a
Fuck
message.
yeah.
Oh my god.
More like Jerry Springer.
So I'm wearing a t-shirt with Pamela Anderson on it that says, "I wish I had serotonin instead of these huge tits." So you need to get your huge tits out. No, that didn't happen.
I wish I had
You could have wore a
serotonin too.
turtleneck, girl. I wear them too.
I was going
But
to,
I get you.
didn't
Like,
I?
it's,
So
you
yeah,
know.
I'm actually very prudish. I don't like sexual innuendos. I don't like
Okay.
sexual jokes. I dress very modestly. You know, I'm never provocative.
Yeah.
I'm very sort of quiet in my own space. I don't go
Right.
out. I don't really like humans. Because I am so energetically aware and spiritual, I'm
Yeah.
very much like keep everybody away. I'm
Yeah.
literally a mum, and
Yeah.
that is it. And then I go to the gym and I do my fighting, and it's such a contradiction because I am all this, but most of the time I'm just
Yeah.
mum and I'm just Megan, and I'm at home and I'm doing my own thing and I'm writing my book, or you know, I'm healing. I do
Yeah.
a lot of healing work at home.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of healing work. God love Ryan. He sees me crying all the time.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of healing work at the minute, and that's the things people don't see.
Yeah.
You know, healing to be a better mum.
Yeah, because I think one of
That's-
the biggest podcasts that I think are the biggest episodes of podcast appearances that you've ever done was the Bear and
Yes,
Scully, isn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
And like I think like, you know, we don't need to get into that there. That's there for people
Yeah.
to see, but it's very much obviously for anybody wanting to maybe go check it out. It was like obviously like the story of, I suppose, Megan's life.
Yeah.
And you know, you have been through a lot. But
Yeah.
I think this is my perception of you. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like deep down I think you're a very, very soft person. Like as in you're very soft. I think you're very sensual. I
Yeah.
think you're a very sweet person.
Yeah.
And I just think that this part is what protects that soft person.
100%.
Do you know? And
I mean,
that part's important. That's needed.
yes,
Because
that's my brand. That's
yeah.
my armor. That's what I put up against the world.
Yeah.
Because the world has been so shit towards me in my
Mhm.
life that I needed to grow that. I needed to grow that outer armor. And you know, the fighting is also another sort of metaphor for that, for
Yeah.
my life. It's like I've had to fight my whole life to even be heard.
Yeah.
So, you know, this gets me heard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people see this, they'll
Yeah.
see this and they'll go, I wanna watch that because of how she looks.
Yeah.
But then they'll listen to my message because
Yeah.
of how I look. So I'm very good at marketing. I know what I'm doing. I
Mhm.
know what way to dress. I know what way to present myself.
Yeah.
But it's not me. I am a
Yeah.
very soft person. You know,
Yeah.
that's so sacred to who I am is so sacred to me that only Ryan and my 2 kids get to see it.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody else will ever know me outside of that, and they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
They don't get to. You know, I don't post anything. Anything that's sacred in my life does not get online.
Yeah.
People don't know about it. You know, me and Ryan got engaged, and that's we have a very sacred relationship. We only post what we want people to see. People will never know us as a couple.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that people can't believe is that people always were like, you'll never get a man to love you doing what you do. And it's like, I have one of the most alpha men that's not a real thing.
Yeah.
But like, I have one of the most sort of what these young boys would look up to, an ex-Royal Marine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like this absolute, like, what people would go, oh my God, that's so alpha, that's so amazing. I have one of the most alpha men ever hit. That's bullshit. That's not actually a real thing. But he's so masculine, and somebody in their masculine can only hold me in my feminine. So our relationship is very sacred, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
But yeah, me personally, I am very. People will never know the real Meghan O'Neill.
Yeah.
Never. It'll never come out. They'll never know the real story.
Aye, and it's that thing. I suppose say whenever like it gets announced, obviously you're going to be coming on this podcast, and then you know like it'll look all very like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, and I love all that too, and it's fun. It's fun to be like performative. Like I do.
Love it.
I get
love
that part.
The shock value. I love saying things that people are like, "Oh my fucking God, I can't believe she said that."
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, click, click.
Because I love the whole. But I love the whole like you know like the Jessica Rabbit of it all, and maybe I don't know if that's. Some people maybe think that's toxic. I personally don't. I just think it's very uber feminine. Like I've always loved the kind of like the sex work industry, like and like the glamour modeling era, and I loved all that. But so I get the performance element, but it's people will see that and think that that's what this is like. Oh, and that's what would like that's you putting the fishing rod out, and that gets them in. But the part, and that's why, you know, like there's. It's just always that part where I think people always have a misconception about a lot of people, and you know I don't blame people for it. Like a lot of people have misconceptions about me. I don't fault them for it. Society makes you think that I'm gonna. Well, if he's that, then he must be like that or whatever. And it's once you kind of peel the layers back a wee bit, and I think I've seen you in podcasts so many times where it's like it's always that like going from a certain angle, and I wanted you to be able to kind of speak from freely your own way.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
without
that.
having to have your guard up, if you get me.
No, I want people to have misconceptions about me because I don't feel like the way I view myself is that I am so.
Was there something Pamela Anderson said one time back in the 90s, and it was something like nearly like as if like was it maybe like to be misunderstood is like one of the greatest like things in order, like, you know, think very low of me because I'll always surprise you.
Oh, yeah,
do you know?
course.
And it's
I
people
love
think very
it,
low of me, my capabilities in a different way. You know,
exactly.
like he's so funny and he's, and I'm like,
always
I'm in on the
say-
joke, you know. And I've been in the Meal Straight podcast, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be gay jokes. I'm aware, and I'm like,
Yeah, of
haha, wink, wink,
course.
nudge, nudge, let's do it. But I know what I'm doing, and
You always
you
want
know,
to be the most stupid person
Yeah.
in the room because when you act a certain way, people act a
Yeah.
certain way as well, and you get to see a lot more of what people's intentions
true,
are.
actually, yeah.
So you act. I always act very stupid and very. When I go on the Lad podcast, I act all, oh my God, and it's like I'm the smartest cunt in this room, and you just don't even realize it. Other than your brother's podcast, your brother's a gentleman.
You've said that before, actually, haven't you? Speak very highly of Patrick,
massively, yeah. Your brother just took me on there and spoke about it as if it was another job. And I actually said to Ryan before we come in, your brother's a gentleman.
Oh.
You're both gentlemen. You're obviously
you.
brought up very well.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
That's very complimenting.
Yeah, no, but it is true. As a mum, I view everything through a mum lens as well. Like I view people through my own motherly lens.
Yeah,
I
no, I
look
get
at people,
that.
Like we were watching the fights the other night and people getting hurt, and I was like, oh, I just imagine being their ma, and I'm like, oh, son, don't do that.
But then you're in the ring, you're like, bah, take out, you cunt.
Yeah. So can we get into this actually? Like how? Like what? Like do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'll be really like I'm all like the porn, the glamour, the set. Like you know, like I'm all for that. I'm like you know, get the baby oil on and let's get filming. But like when it comes to the ring, I'm like oh like
You like a different ring.
That actually shocks me more. I'm like. But I'm violence. I'm not like I've never been into box. I really respect it as a craft, and I understand it takes so much resilience and discipline, and so I couldn't do it. But like I get squeamish. I've never been a fan of it because it just terrifies me. I'm a wee wuss.
know.
So how did you get? How the fuck did you get into that? Did you always have a thing for it, or?
I never.
And by the way,
watched-
can we just say, by the way, fucking credit, bare knuckle. Like bare
mean,
knuckle is fucking
yeah.
like.
I made history. I'm the first woman from Northern Ireland to do it, the second in Ireland.
Fuck.
Yeah, and currently I'm the only woman in Ireland, the whole of Ireland, that actually does bare knuckle from here. The other girl, Sinead, she's from Dublin. She lives in London, I think.
Right.
So I'm literally the only woman in this island that actually does it.
Oh my god.
So I made history by doing that as the first woman. So growing up, I spoke about it loads. I was a wee terror. Like, I was
Yeah.
tomboy. Like, I was
Uh-huh.
like fighting with the lads, and I was like, I love this. I was so rough and so
Yeah.
ready. Two big brothers, grew up fighting.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. My daddy's from West Belfast. I mean, you know what it's like, West Belfast.
Oh,
You
you,
know,
you have to be rough.
you have
Love
to be
it.
rough.
I
You have to
love
be
it.
very, very rough,
Yeah.
very, very tough. So I grew up very sort of, my sister was the princess, whereas I was very like, get out and fight and
Yeah.
fight your own battles. And I fought her battles, and I loved fighting. I just loved violence.
Yeah.
So I then, whenever I switched to Buddhism, I came away from all that. So I used to fight all the
Okay.
time. I mean, I always say I was going to jail.
Right. Okay.
Like, before I had my kids, I was going to go to jail. Like,
Really?
I
Right,
was
okay.
so violent. And not violent, I wouldn't have looked for an argument, but I wouldn't have looked away.
Right. I
would
get
have
you.
sort of provoked it a little bit because I loved violence. I just
Right.
loved fighting.
And do you think was there a part of that? Like that was like maybe like an unhealed.
Oh, I
part
had
of
anger
you,
management. Do you know,
yeah.
I was ADHD. I was undiagnosed. My brother was a drug addict. There was a lot going on at home,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an outlet. It was an
Yeah.
outlet where. But then I had kids, and I
Yeah.
switched to Buddhism, and I hated the thought of hurting people.
Okay.
My last sort of instance where I never talk about it, but there was one episode that I was involved in whenever I was out.
Yeah.
That was, if I had done what I was going to do and the bouncers didn't intervene, I'd have went to jail.
Right. Okay.
And I probably would have still been in jail. So
Mhm.
for me, I was like, fuck, that's bad. Like, I need to change. So I switched
Yeah.
to Buddhism. And then I came away from violence and was like, I won't touch anybody. I won't harm a fly. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do any of it. And then I seen Misfits. And I
Mhm.
was like, wow, these girls get to fight and look really glamorous at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's influencers, so it's not actual boxing. It is actual boxing. It does have the same
But
risks.
it's the
yeah, and I
get
was
you.
like, I'm already an OnlyFans girl. Oh my God, this is perfect.
Mhm.
So my first fight, I decided then I'm going to fight. But when I started sparring people and hitting them again,
Mhm.
I had a very long, even now, like Ryan trains me now,
Mhm.
and even hitting him,
Mhm.
it really upsets me.
Right.
Like, I don't like hurting people.
Yeah.
And there's a part in that that's very cathartic for me, and I've had to go on a very long healing journey to come back to, the girls I would spar. There's a friend of mine, Aisling Brady. She's absolutely amazing. She's a makeup artist, she's class.
Mhm.
She was probably one of my first sparring partners, and she really helped me in my journey to be like, it's okay to hit me. I would
Okay.
hit her and cry
Right.
and be like, I'm so sorry. And even though I look now and I'm like, she could definitely take those punches, it still for me was
Okay.
so hard to actually hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And when I fight, I take on the villain. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm easy to hate, so I'm like, the
Yeah.
villain's perfect for me. I'm gonna be the villain. I'm gonna be the one that they hate. So
Okay.
I start.
So there's still is when you remember with the porn, the performative part.
Yes.
there is a part of that,
Oh,
I suppose,
big
in that.
time,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
And
it's
I-
taken on the persona.
There's a
Yes.
persona, and whenever it
Yeah.
comes like is it the square offs or the weigh-ins
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
face-offs. Yeah.
Truthfully, like, do you have in them situations? I'm sure there's people you maybe like disagree with or don't like or whatever, but it's a lot of it very much like, look, we're here for the same goal. We're here to make magic together.
Yeah.
Let's put on the theatrics.
Yes,
Let's
but I
go
can't
for
let
it.
them know that.
No, but do you
So-
think? Because I always notice in say that part versus when it finishes, there's like a sportsmanship,
Yeah,
or
of
there's a
course, there's
respect, or
There is a massive respect for anybody that gets in. Anybody
Yeah,
in
fuck.
the fight industry
yeah,
will say the same thing. You respect your opponent. Like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
kill them before because I have to get myself into that. Especially with bare knuckle,
Yeah,
boxing's completely different. With bare knuckle, you're like, you have to go to a very dark place in your mind. Me personally, anyway, to go in there.
yeah,
No, I didn't do it. Obviously, my last fight was just a mess. But because I was there on my own, I had no
yeah.
corner
You still,
team.
yeah.
Yeah, so like it was mad. People don't do that. Like, you
No,
don't,
but you fucking done it though.
yeah,
like, do you know
men
what I
don't
mean?
even do that. Men don't
Yeah.
even get in.
Yeah.
Like that, even professional boxers
Mhm.
don't get in on their own.
No.
That switch from professional boxing. Like,
Yeah.
what I done was massive,
Mm-hmm.
massive. And I kind of look at it now and be like, holy fuck, I did that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fucking. There's obviously I'm very strong.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot of performative, but I can't let my opponent know
Right.
that I'm
I
talking
get
shit.
that. Yeah.
So I have to have them shitting themselves. And I'm very good
Yeah.
at it. I'm very good at mind games. So I'm very good at sort of
I-
having them, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So it's
before
kind
you
of
go
like
in.
it's kind of like a different kind of zone you have to get into.
And it is, Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's scary.
See, the last I've had this question in my head from the start,
Okay.
and I just want to bring it back to like the porn thing.
Yeah.
So, see, you came into it quite young, and you work in a you talk about how safe the environment is now, and like, and the people you work with, and there's so much respect.
Yeah.
Was it a scary place to come into before you knew that was the case?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Was it like, were you afraid? Because there is, I think the porn landscape has changed.
Yeah.
Today's
So
world
what
of it.
I will say is that when I started modelling, you went to a studio with a photographer you'd never met, a man that you'd never met. You were on your own usually. You didn't really ever have a chaperone. And you were put in a position where anything could happen.
Yeah.
And it was very unsafe. Now, thankfully for me, nothing ever did happen. I never had a negative experience with any photographer.
Yeah.
Again, I put that down to my gut instinct because I very much was like, if I don't feel safe with this person, even through messages, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
So thankfully for me, that never happened. OnlyFans opened a new safety sort of net for people that they could sit in their house and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then whenever you go into porn, obviously you have to go out and meet people. There is a thing called a blacklist in porn where if there's a worker,
Good.
we write them into it. You know, we write why, whoever. Well, fortunately, I've never had worked with anybody negative.
Yeah.
But if you go into the industry for the wrong reasons, you're very much found out straight away.
Right. Okay.
And if you do
yeah.
anything wrong, it's a massive worldwide network, but it's also a very small network.
Okay.
You know, we were in Vegas at the AVMs.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was incredible.
I know.
Like,
Like that's major.
yes,
Is that the
massive.
AVN? Isn't it?
AVNs,
Yes.
yeah.
Do you know about the AVNs?
No.
It's like it's basically like the Grammys of porn.
Yeah, the Golden
Oh,
Globes
fuck.
of porn,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? We didn't even go to the awards.
Did you not?
We were just
But there's
having
loads
fun.
because Vegas would be one of the main networks for like the porn
Yeah,
conventions. See,
yeah.
I'm such a geek when
That's
it comes
what
to
it
it all.
was. It was a
Yeah.
big porn
I know.
convention.
LOL.
I love it. You need to go. It's amazing.
I know. Sometimes I think
Is there a red carpet?
Yeah.
I would love to go, but I would go pure like porny outfit. But like, do you know, I love like the idea of like the title like, porn star. But like, I don't think it's the actual porn part that I'm like. I'm more like an all talk person. you know,
He thought I was dressed as a porn star.
I
earlier.
talk the talk, but I can't walk the walk. I'm like,
He thought I was getting ready for a porn shoot earlier
Yeah.
because he turned up
he was wearing like these like DIY like dungarees.
like overall.
and I said, oh,
I
hey.
was painting downstairs.
I know what I said, you know, it's only a podcast episode.
Fake plumber.
The plumber. But what was it like?
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
Because then a lot like America is America like the creme de la creme. If you
Yeah.
crack America, you've cracked it.
Yeah, so
No pun
I felt
intended.
very at
Oh,
home.
I wouldn't have picked cracked it. Oh, crack.
See
okay.
him with the sexual fucking
And yeah,
innuendos.
I don't
Do you
get
remember
a
in the
life.
valleys, I was all like, I'm not into sexual innuendos, and then at the very end, you were like, I've actually wrote some down.
There was so many.
Grow up, Sean.
They were funny.
So immature.
So in America,
Mm-hmm.
it was very much. I felt comfortable.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, my sort of character in America is celebrated. It's not celebrated here.
yeah.
People they're not interested in it. They're very
Mhm.
much like, you know yourself, if you become successful in Ireland, they're like, who the fuck do you think you are? In America, it was just different. And we went to a gym called Top Rank Gym, and it's the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
professional boxers. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, what?
Oh my-
Yeah, Top Rank's massive.
Do you
Oh my
know
God.
Top Rank?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, right, okay.
yeah, so we were
Fuck.
allowed in. Yeah, so we get in there.
Fucking
Because
hell.
obviously Ryan's a 2-time British bare
Yeah.
knuckle champion
Oh my god.
himself. So like he's very big. Yeah.
Clap for that. Yeah. We're all about celebrations here. Yeah. Oh my god,
So
right?
we were very much celebrated in America.
Uh-huh.
We don't feel the same at home. You know, I actually was quite, again, because of like what I wear and stuff, I'm quite insecure in terms of, I get really uncomfortable with people
Okay.
staring and people
Okay.
looking. And, you know, Ryan actually came on as my security, so I have a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And he was actually the one that promoted me to be like, I had no shorts, but
Mhm.
I had little tight pants, but
Mhm.
they're like boxers.
Okay.
And he was like, it's fucking Vegas, just wear them. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, Ryan, like, what if they, because of how I'm treated here, I'm treated very poorly here, I'm very much discriminated against. You know, we were just thrown out of an amateur boxing club because we kissed, like, literally pegged each other, and we were
Oh my
told to
God.
leave. Well, we weren't told to leave. What we were told was, I was told to take down the video of you and him kissing.
Oh
And I
my
said, well,
God.
I'm not being discriminated against anymore.
Yeah.
So we're very much discriminated against wherever we go. So there, I was like, oh, I feel so insecure, and I went and done it.
Mm-hmm.
And the professional boxers were just in the ring beside us, totally
Yeah.
welcome. You know, he went to them straight away and was like, listen, she's a porn star, she's a bit insecure, and they were like, oh, we love that, like bring her in, this is so
Yeah.
cool, and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, I'm welcome.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a massive. I'm not welcome here.
Is that a difference in cultures? Because like they're like in America, it's all about
Bigger the better.
promoting yourself.
Ambition. Yeah.
That's sort of looked
Yeah.
looked upon more favorably.
I think ambition is feared here. I think anyone that's in any industry, if you're too confident, if you're too out there, if you're too outside the box in whatever kind of way, it's like, oh, get you back in, you're getting too big. There's always been that way.
They will promote you until you get too big, until you get better than them. And then they're like, no. Come you back and sit in your box. You're not allowed to do that.
No.
You're allowed to be good, but you're not allowed to be too good.
Yeah. And this is the thing. It's like, you know, when we talk about the OnlyFans, like my thing is I'm always very much like everybody should be able to do whatever they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody. That's my view. And my opinion on things doesn't matter as long as, you know, like, there should be a mutual respect for coexistence.
Do you know what?
And you shouldn't be putting other people down, I don't think.
Social media.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the fuck do these people think they are? Why are they so entitled?
Yeah.
Why is everybody so entitled now to think that their fucking opinion matters? Like, people I don't know will write on my posts saying all sorts of shit, and I'm like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I've actually just started replying now, especially men that call me ugly and all the rest. I just take photos of them off their profiles and just reply a photo of their head, and I zoom into their face, and that's all I post.
Patty LaBelle, love it.
Really, Jack?
I know.
Off.
I know, but like girl, like come on, it's like really, like don't say, like, you know, you can call me whatever, but do not call me like you're not ugly, like really, like you're correct, like I'm sorry.
Call me ugly.
No, it's trying to get a reach, but it's just us here. I think when people see people shine here, they want to try and bring them back down.
They do.
Meanwhile, there's a quote, and I don't even know it, but it'd be so good right now. It's something about like being in, like, you know, you could be something about like being in the wrong room. It's something along the lines of like, if you are in somewhere and you're not welcome, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
It's not you, it's the room that you're in.
Well,
and you need to be in a place that embraces you and celebrates you. And it doesn't necessarily, I don't mean that like geography, you just need to be around your environment needs to change. Yeah.
But there's also a thing, I remember something similar to that. It was like a quote about whenever a flower doesn't bloom, you change the environment.
Yeah.
You don't change the flower. You take the flower out of that pot and you put it somewhere else so it will thrive.
Yeah.
And it's like authenticity. I always say this to Ryan, when you become really authentic, because we're quite authentic characters and we change the fucking dynamic of every single room we walk into. People fucking hate us together because they hate us separately. And when we come together, they're like, what the fuck? When you're authentic, it scares people. And it also brings your people to you. People are so scared of themselves because maybe they are different. For me, I mean, I'm the first porn star from here that I know of. I was so different to everybody, and I was like, there's not many Buddhists either, and I was like, do you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be me because it makes me happy. And as soon as I started to be me, all of my people came to me.
Yeah.
They just gravitated towards me. And the relationships I have now, I have no relationships from when I was younger. I mean, 1 or 2 friends. Everybody else get kicked to the fucking curb.
Yeah.
I just blossomed into who I was meant to be. And from that, the abundance of love, money, success, fame, everything just started coming in. Like everybody around me shines. The people that I decide to shine, my kids and Ryan.
Yes.
And my bestest friends. We all have these really beautiful relationships, and that didn't happen until I decided to be who I wanted to be.
Oh, yeah.
And it will not happen for you until you decide.
And I think when you come to that, when you're saying, remember, whenever you're meditating, you decided to go into this industry, like when it's scary. It is scary to kind of step into your own, but like it is the best thing. You are like, once you really embrace your like authenticity and your individuality, like you will go through the ringer with it. But when that all kind of the dust settles, it's like you really see and you really value, like, so that's my thing. I can't have fake people. I can't fucking have them. And even if I'm so completely polar opposite to you, as long as you're you, I just really rate and respect people that are real and themselves.
Yeah, me and Ryan can't have fake
I
people
can't
around
have
us.
it. I really can't.
We
Even if you're a real dickhead, it's better.
I've always said, do you know, I've always said that. I'm
Aye.
like, there's people I know and I'm like, they're a fucking wanker, but you know
Yeah.
what? They're them fucking selves, and
Yeah,
I
it's a
rate
fair
it. I
play,
rate it,
yeah.
and I have a respect for it. Meanwhile, there's nothing worse than a fucking
and you
somebody,
can feel it.
you know, sticking to the status quo and always like, you know, that no, I
And you
can't
can
have
feel it
it.
as well. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you
matter
can.
what they say.
It's
you
in
can
because
feel
it's
it.
an aura. It's an
Yeah, of
aura.
course
You can
it is.
feel like that when somebody's like disingenuous, right? So something else. I just because this is the thing. I could speak to you all day,
Yeah.
but I want to know, like, say, like misconception wise, what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about porn stars?
Well, I think the biggest one that I know of is obviously that they're dumb. But
Yeah.
another one is that they think they're big riders, big shaggers outside of porn.
Okay.
And for me, you know, I don't talk about body count and all that sort of shit.
No.
But like, it's just bull. It's not a real thing.
No.
But you know, I think people will be shocked by
Mm-hmm.
how sort of unsexual I would have been outside of my career. You know,
Yeah.
it is literally so polarizing, and my personality is very contradictory because it's like I have this one side where I do porn,
Yeah.
and then the other side it's like I'm so not like that.
Yeah.
So I think that people have this misconception that, you know, men and women outside of the industry are top shaggers.
Yeah.
And that usually is not the case.
And it's kind of when you go back to that point when you say you in your natural habitat, it's like you
Yeah.
very much like the comfy zone, you're happy, you're with your
Yeah.
family, you know, you're with your partner, and you know
Yeah.
that's your safe space, and it's a different person. And to be honest, that's quite common in a lot of careers. So it's not really like as if it's but
It's not
like say me,
yeah.
I'm very much like an introverted extrovert. So
Yeah.
this is all very like hey
Ambivert, yeah.
But whenever I'm with my people, I'm very insular. I'm very quiet. I'm
Yeah.
very much more calmer, and you know it's a different kind of aura.
People can't grasp the fact
Yeah.
that people are multifaceted.
Yeah.
Multifaceted, especially, you know, there's this double standard in porn as well that women are, you know, my male counterparts never get asked about their kids
Mm-hmm.
or about, you know, what's going to happen to their kids when they grow up, or
Yeah.
your kids are going to get bullied, or where are your kids, or anything like that. And it's like, that's all I get
Mm-hmm.
because obviously we have this idea that women should be at home and doing this and doing that, and that's all we are for, is to give birth and raise kids.
Yeah.
So there's that massive double standard, and then there's obviously the double standard of men in the industry. Oh, top shagger, this is class. And even out
Yeah.
of the industry,
Yeah.
as Sean was saying, like this, oh, man sleeps with 100 women, he's amazing, but a girl does it, she's this fucking whore,
Yeah.
slut, or, you know, like she gets shamed for it. There's these double standards in the industry, but it also flips in its head, and, you know, I can do gay porn,
Mm-hmm.
no problem, and it's not seen as gay.
Yeah.
But a man does gay porn, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gay
Oh,
then.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, no, sexuality's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not pocketed like that. You can't label it like that. It's a job.
Yeah.
It is very much a job. You go in and do your own thing. I mean, I am completely straight.
Yes.
Like 100% straight. Not even a slight bit bisexual, but I still do gay porn.
Yeah.
You know, and there's that double standard.
Yeah.
And then again, there's another one where women actually get paid more in the porn industry as well. So it's the only industry in the world where women actually get paid more than men.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, yes.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm all
female
for that,
empowerment,
yeah.
yes. And and that's the thing I think, because obviously we've had Andy on before, and like you
Yeah.
know the whole like conversation about like the gay for pay,
Yeah.
like industry, and but the thing is obviously like the gay market's clearly more like lucrative for male
Yeah,
porn stars to kind of
yeah.
tap into that there, but
Yeah.
that doesn't and I
was
understand it.
interesting.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
people think, oh well, you must be a wee bit, and the thing is. This is when we talk about sexuality as a whole, not
Yeah.
just necessarily as a career. It's like we have to, for people to be able to make sense of things, they have to be able to put it like, oh, this goes in that box.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you've interacted or experimented with a male and you're a male, then that must make you
Yeah.
gay. Or you have done, and it's like, and as you're saying, it's like it's a performance for you. So like people can't even understand, say, sexual experimentation. They have to, you're either left or right or in this box or somewhere, and that's one thing. But then people can't also understand, I suppose, the difference of like sex as intimacy versus sex as, I suppose, like a platonic thing where like, you know, when you're, I suppose, I'm assuming maybe on a set, it's maybe more like, right, how did that look?
Yeah.
It's maybe more where your
mean,
your brain
shot-
thinking
I
of
shot with Manuel Ferreira,
Mm-hmm.
and Ryan was there.
Yeah.
And it was very much, we sat down, we went, right, Manuel was amazing. Like, he's obviously one of the biggest in the world. He sat down and was like, is there anything you want to ask me? This is the way I record. Is there anything you want to do? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And, you know, he was very much for me, was very much, because I wanted to do the whole, oh my God, Manuel Ferreira. And he was like, no, we're
Yeah.
going to do like Meghan O'Neill. Oh my God, you're a fighter. And,
Yeah.
you know, he turned it on me and was like, you're the star of the show. And he was lovely. But it was very much, we sat down after and went through all the sort of credentials and like,
Yeah.
what do we need now and what do we need, blah, blah, blah. It is very platonic. It's it's transactional.
Yeah.
It's very sort of, it's art.
Yeah.
It's literally you create it and then you sit down after and go, well, what do you think of that? What do you think of this? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then you go away. Intimacy is completely different.
Yeah.
Obviously. But
And that's
people get
and
this-
I relate to a lot of that in my line of work. Like I like that. Like oh my gosh, right. If we zoom that bit in and we make that way and
Yeah.
that there, and maybe if that there was maybe at like a higher speed, that would be really impactful and that would really catch
Yeah.
you.
It's the creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creativity. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And you know, and the thing is, art is subjective. You know, like it's very much in the eye of the beholder. Like you know,
Yeah.
and you don't create art for the observer. You create art for you. It's how you want it to look. It's your creative process.
Yeah.
And not everybody will get it. I completely get it. But what I always say is this is what I love about it. I will always celebrate sex workers, but I really, really, really admire the ones that have the tenacity and the grit to really go for it. Like if you're gonna go for it, I
Go
wanna
for it,
get to
yeah.
the AVN Awards, get to
Yeah.
that, do what you need to do. Like, you know, I love it.
You're supposed to have a boundary talk before.
Yeah.
Most performers will,
Yeah.
especially if you're working with somebody, you know, that is very extreme
Yes.
and hardcore. You
Yeah.
have to have those discussions, but
And does it go wrong sometimes? Is like
never.
no.
No, there's never been a case. I mean, some people have, but you know, I obviously I know a lot of the women in the industry, and there is unfortunately some women that don't feel comfortable to stand up and say their boundaries, and then they
Yeah.
do get crossed, and then after they're feeling a little bit vulnerable or taken
Of course,
advantage of,
course.
and we rally round them and be like, you know, that's okay, and that can get a bit sensitive because you know the girl might then start to feel bad about the male she was working with, and it's like, well, you have to understand, you know, there's a lot of times where. This is why we have the boundary talk and we have it on camera so that it's recorded.
Yeah.
You have to be safe at all times.
Yeah.
For me, I am very upfront and very sort of, if I don't like something, I'll say, you know,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, don't fucking do that again.
Yeah.
But I'm a very different, like, I think I'm a very different sort of character. I'm very outspoken. I fight for a living.
Yeah.
I'm just very like, I'll fucking say,
Yeah.
you know, but if you don't have that comfortable sort of confrontational nature, you have to have the discussions beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's just sorry, this just came into my head when you're saying that. I think this is the thing. I think when we're talking about, obviously, like, you know, porn used to be very much like, it was very much like a top shelf kind of thing. It was, it still had its space if that's where it was to go get it. And I think now because things are so much more mainstream
Yeah.
and mainstream media is now talking so much about it, like the
Yeah.
documentaries with
Yeah.
Lily Phillips or Bonnie Blue and all these different people. There's
I was in Bonnie Blue's documentary.
Well, oh my God, were you?
I
Oh,
don't even know what I was doing. I never even watched it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Everybody texts me and like, you were in that, I get paid for it, and all, I don't even know what I was
Oh
doing.
my God, right.
They just took some like clips or something of me, and I was like,
Oh, really? Right,
yeah.
okay. Oh my God.
So I got ahead.
Put another clap, I guess. But it's the thing is, because it's in the mainstream now, then I think when we're talking about, say, with the manosphere, like that impressionable part, I think a lot of people could maybe look at it as a very, like, you know, whenever you hear people say, like, oh, fuck it, like, I'll just sell feet pics online, or,
Yeah.
oh, fuck it, like, I'll just start OnlyFans, and I think people nearly think it's this, I think people there's a naivety maybe, and I think
Yeah.
that's the part that's a wee bit scary, and I think, so obviously, I think you're very much obviously about ethics and all these different things which are very important, and the safety and the precautions.
Integrity, yeah.
You know, it's, what would you say, like, I suppose anybody that was maybe kind of thinking that was a career path to go into, like, I don't think you would, I don't want to speak on behalf of you, but I don't think you would be like, hey, like, everybody should do this. Like, if I can do it, you can do it too. That wouldn't be your no.
Not at all.
I think you're you can handle it.
I'm a very, very tough character.
Yeah.
You know, you can't mentally break me. I mean, I'm writing a book at the minute on mental resilience.
Okay.
I didn't get here through airy, fairy, lovely, light and love life.
Yeah.
I got here through grit. And I, you know, as you mentioned earlier, like my podcast before, I've been a victim of sexual abuse as a child. I've been raped. I mean, my brother was murdered. He was a drug addict. I went through everything in life that a
yeah.
person can. So, you know, there's not much more that the world can throw at me that I have not already fucking dealt with. So there's not many characters out there that have my really tough nature and really thick skin.
Yeah.
I would not promote anybody to go into the industry unless they are. So when somebody comes to me and they say they want to go into the industry, I try to put them off it.
Okay.
I will do everything. I will say everything. I will, give them all these different scenarios. What about your mummy and daddy finding out? What about your partner down the line?
Yeah.
What about your kids? What about X, Y, and Z? And I will try and put them off.
Yeah.
I will come up with the most nittiest, grittiest thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And if they still want to do it after that, I say, well, maybe you actually are meant for it. Or you're built for it.
Okay.
So I will try to put somebody off it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can still handle that discussion at the end of the discussion,
Mm-hmm.
then I go, maybe you're built for it. Because
Yeah.
if I can't put you off,
Mm-hmm.
maybe then you have thought about it. Because people look at the glamour and the money and the success and the fame and the fortune, all this shit, and go, oh my God, it looks amazing. I'm going to go
Yeah.
into it, and they're naive.
Yeah.
But it is, you need to understand what can actually come from it. You need to look at
Yeah.
your future career.
Mm-hmm.
10 years, 20 years down the line and go, am I unemployable? Am I going to be unemployable? I've always been unemployable, having ADHD, so I've always had to be my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't matter to me doing
Oh,
porn.
right. Okay. Yeah.
That
Gotcha.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you do this, what's your life going to look like? Are you able to deal with the consequences of it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are going to have people turn against you.
Yeah.
For me, my family very much supported me. I have a very open family. We're all
Yeah.
very sex positive. Obviously I'm engaged to get married.
Yeah.
I haven't really been dealt too bad of a hand now,
Okay.
but it does affect people in different ways. So I would always try and put people off it.
Mm-hmm.
For the simple fact of your mental health can suffer. It's not
Yeah.
a good industry to go into if you're a little bit unsteady,
Yeah.
a little bit unstable. I've had depression in the past. I have ADHD. I cry all the time. I'm emotional.
Yeah.
But through healing, not through being unsure of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can rock me online or say anything to me because I know who I am.
Yeah.
You have to be completely sure of who you are before
Yeah.
you decide to step into that industry, because it will, not only does, society, when you go into the porn industry, society's going to turn on you and try and rip you up into shreds.
Mm-hmm.
But the industry itself, the people are beautiful,
Yeah.
but it depends. Some of my friends just don't fit the bill and don't
Mhm.
get jobs, and because of how they look or how they sort of their body shape or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
you can end up fucking hating yourself. You
Yeah.
might, there's a niche for everything in porn,
Part
but
two, actually.
yeah, like there's a niche for everything. But if you don't go in at the right time or when something's big and you have a different body shape or you're this or you're that, you're in a certain niche,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
it can end up like the people that aren't into that niche will fucking slate you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Oh, God,
people
yeah.
in the industry, there's also this thing where people in the industry, for me now, in the industry, the level that I'm at, I'm only going to work with professionals. I
Okay,
don't
yeah.
I don't collab anymore with sort of low level people. I very much stick to the sort of the
Okay.
high end, but I can do that because
Yeah.
of who I am and the brand that I've built. But when you first come into it, you have to start working with people that are nobodies.
Yeah.
That you have to get your content.
Mhm.
But sometimes people in the industry don't want to work with you because they're not attracted to you.
Yeah.
And that can hurt people.
Yeah.
So it's very much, you have to think of all these different things
Yeah.
before you go into it.
Because that's the part as well. Like, if you look at, say, like even like modeling, for instance, like, you're like sometimes models can be some of the most insecure people because
Yeah.
their whole career is built on really like looking at their physicality under a microscope,
Yes.
and it's being depicted apart.
And then constant rejection. And
Yeah.
This is what I was trying to say.
And
Yes,
then-
rejection.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of rejection in the industry.
Yeah.
If you're not what they're after, it doesn't mean you're wrong.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're not beautiful. But if you're not what they're after,
Mm-hmm.
you can get a lot of rejection, and that can hurt. Because rejection hurts.
Yeah.
It's not nice to be rejected.
We're all human.
Yeah. So, it is very much, you have to think of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy industry.
No. And I think that's very wise, to be honest. Like, and it goes back to I suppose the general conclusion. It's not for everybody. Not everybody should be able to do it. It's a certain type of person
Yeah.
that can, if you can handle it and you want to do it, then
Yeah, you can-
it's
yeah.
potentially for you. But also, if it's not for you, we shouldn't be so judgmental, I think, as people about,
Just live and let live. Yeah, let people be happy with what they want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it, that's fine, but you are going to watch it.
Yeah.
You are going to watch it. It
She's
wouldn't be
so
there
bad.
if everybody. If you hate porn so much, then why do you watch it? I always find that the people that hate it the most,
Or the ones.
the ones that are so like
The loudest.
morally
Yeah.
perfect are usually the ones that are completely obsessed with porn.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found.
But that's because I think a lot of people have to project and shame and
Yeah, of
condemn other people
course.
because it means it deflects them from actually looking inner within themselves. And that's the part where it can't really actually have an impact on you because you can see through it. I can
Yeah,
see
of
through it. I'm like, okay, you're
course.
projecting your homophobia onto me, but I know what you
Yeah.
are, and like I don't really care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could be a politician. Get your tits out, fucking.
Really?
get
Would you love
started.
to be like? So what would be like your political like manifesto or like campaign or?
Oh fuck! I would just
Wank responsibly.
wank. No, don't get onto my OnlyFans. Oh, do you know what? The girls and the gays and everybody else, like, just I'd be so for everybody that's oppressed. See
Yeah.
all the oppressed people. I'd be like, let's all just get into a big fuck, get our pitchforks.
Yeah.
Let's go to Storm and let's.
Right. Okay.
Sorry. But I'm like,
Let's
yeah.
not do that. But I get your point. Like, as in,
Yeah.
like, I get, like, and you know, and this
Be
is the thing.
yourself.
There will be, like, you are literally such like an energy, like, and it's you know, you just float about and the
Yeah.
thing and cause havoc as well.
Yeah, I
And
love it.
there's part like, but the thing is, it would never trigger me because I just very much like love the fact that you're just so you, and I don't think anybody should ever try to step in anybody's parade if they're just being themselves.
gonna
There'd be
step
parts I'd be
mine.
like, that's going way over my head, but like
yeah.
I love it for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what? See if
Because
I
we are so oppressed.
if I was the leader of the world, which I think I should be,
Yeah.
it would be a matriarchal society.
Okay.
It would be matriarchal.
Mhm.
It would be led by women.
Yeah.
It would be led by feminine people. It wouldn't. Well, when I say actually feminine people, that's actually wrong
Uh-huh.
because women are actually quite a bit more masculine. And when I talk about that, I talk about yin yang. That's what I mean. Is these feminine energies? It doesn't mean man or woman.
Okay.
It doesn't mean male or female. It just means the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Women would just lead the world in such a better way. Like, society was meant to be matriarchal. I mean, you look at the animal kingdom, we're the only animal or mammal that isn't matriarchal. And we're patriarchal. We're led by men. And look at the fucking state of the world. We're led by men and they're all fighting. Women wouldn't be going to wars.
Yeah.
We would be frolicking in our beautiful essence, painting.
Yeah.
And, you know, paint me like one of your French girls. You know, we'd be just,
Yeah.
and do you know what? If we had a fight, I'd be like, bitch, I'm not talking to you. And then a week later, we'd be like, do you know what? Let's sort that out. Let's not
Yeah.
war and kill people because we don't believe in that.
See, I'm just such an advocate for women. But the thing is, for me,
Yeah.
I've always had so many strong female
yeah, like your
figures
mummy.
around my life. Yeah.
I
And
love
it's
her. Can I
yeah.
just say I
Oh,
love your
she's
mum?
great. Oh, stop.
No, I do. Me and my daughter be like, you know that where
Oh.
she said, everybody doesn't need to know what we're getting for our dinner. Me and my daughter love
I know.
that.
And do you want me to tell you something funny as well? Just so you know, like, I'm really lucky the family I come from because, like, say, for instance, Dad was like, oh, are you going up to Belfast? I was like, he goes, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, like, I'm doing a podcast. He's like, oh, who do you have on with this week? And I was like, oh, Meghan O'Neill. He's like, oh, who's that? Like, you know, Dad, obviously,
Yeah.
like, he doesn't watch, you might say he does, but he doesn't watch porn, okay? And I was like, oh, like,
Little do you know.
What's his name? I'll just check.
but I turned around,
Subscribers.
I was like, I was just like, oh, like, you know, she works in adult entertainment. He goes, what do you mean by that? I goes, oh, like, she's like a porn star. He goes, oh, very good. And that was,
yeah.
didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's why my
And there's a
family
lot, and
are.
believe there are a lot of people, believe it or
Yeah.
not, and you know, I want you to know that as well. Like,
do you know
not
what,
everybody.
Jerry?
That's the ignorance.
Yeah.
You know, not
do you
everybody
what?
thinks that
I
way.
always say I get more positivity and support than I do hate. It's just
Good.
that hate's the louder. Hate's
Yeah,
louder.
that's always been
Um,
yeah.
But
What's that? There could be 99 people in the room that believe in you, but that one person that says that you're a cunt, it's like it
I'd be
hurts more.
singling them out and I'd be like, let's
Yeah.
go outside.
Stings.
Let's go into the ring. I'm ready to fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm ready to throw hands.
No.
I've got by that whole Buddhist thing. It's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
No, I have a bodyguard now, so it's fine. He just
But
fight
then the
me.
positivity outweighs.
Massively.
Good.
Massively.
Yeah.
And I also don't allow. So
Yeah.
I always say that I have a circle around me. Okay. So in the middle is me and my kids.
Yeah.
Nothing gets to us. I mean,
Yeah.
I have Ryan. He
Yeah.
is complete protector of me.
Mhm.
And then outside that, I have my best friends.
Yeah.
And then outside that, I have another set of friends.
Yeah.
So any bullshit that ever got online, I don't look for it. It doesn't come to me. So if you're writing comments with me, I don't see them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think it was over a year and a half ago the last time I ever looked on Tattle.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't read them.
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
care. Like, so it never gets, there's like a filtered I have a filtered fucking
Yeah.
hierarchy.
I get
So,
you.
and I'm at the top of that, and I don't mean that in a superiority sort of way, but for me, my hierarchy is me and my kids are in the middle, and everybody else is out around us.
Yeah.
It never breaks into me. So, like, if anything comes to my family, it doesn't come to me. It stops with them.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that you don't come to me with negativity.
Mhm.
You know, you just don't. If
Yeah.
you do, I will bite, and I will like, get away, get back.
Yeah.
Nobody feels entitled to come to me because I have boundaries, and I have such strong boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries
And
are so important.
so important.
Yeah.
And I teach my kids all about boundaries. You know, that's the biggest thing, and consent and that sort of thing. You know, as a mother, I'm like, this is what needs to happen. So yeah, for me, it never infiltrates me. Negativity doesn't. So I have such a good circle, very immediate,
Yeah.
intimate circle
I love that.
does not get to me. Negativity never reaches me
Yeah.
because it gets filtered down, and sort of the last, you know, what would you call it in the army, Ryan? The last line of defense is sort of my best friends.
Okay.
And it will never get through
Yeah.
that. Because if they hear
Gotcha.
anything or there's any negativity,
It's going through the.
yeah,
I
and
get
it
you.
never gets to me.
I get you.
And it never gets to my kids because I am, again.
And this is
sort
the
of
thing, but
their-
it's so funny. You see, like, you're always mentioning your kids, and this is the part when you say about the whole, and this is the part that's so annoying when you mention about like the male and the female, and like the different, I suppose, the double standards where like men maybe won't get asked these questions, but women are always asked these questions, and we need to stop asking these kind of questions of like, you know, like what would your kids think, or how what are you going to do whenever you have to tell your kids this or that or whatever, and it's like, but what about? But let's flip the trajectory here. Yes, the career path might not be for everybody. It might not be conventional, and some people may have certain opinions that might make them feel uncomfortable in certain ways. That's for them to figure out. That's not on you. But the thing is, you know, imagine actually having a parent that would literally do anything for their kids. So like such a rock star that would teach them about all the different social things of how to be and how to conduct yourself and how to treat others and how to be liberal minded, to create a space where they can be any question they ever have when they go through their adolescence years, they can come to you with, and you'll always be in their corner. Like, what about maybe flipping it in that part of it?
People don't see
you know,
that.
it's,
People don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's like why are we putting another woman down? Or why are we putting somebody down as a mum? Whenever it's like, if anything, that's amazing things. And then also, I will do this career and I love it, and I will go against the grain because I will always be in your corner to encourage you to be who you want to be as a child. Like, oh my, like, it's, you know.
For me, you know,
it's,
I've always said that I have done the nitty gritty to get my kids onto whatever platform they need from whatever they choose to do in life. I've done the bullshit that they don't need to do.
Yeah.
You know, and if they want to go into the industry, they can do whatever they want. Like, I will be there to support them no matter what they want to do in the world.
Yeah.
But I have done it so that they, you know, I've done it because I've wanted to do it, but it has left me in a position that they can go and choose to do what they want. If they don't like school, finish it, and then we'll go and see. I can start your business. I can start this. I can give you whatever you need financially so that you can go and do what you want. You never have to worry about anything like that. Like, my daughter treats me like her loaded best friend. She's like, Mummy, I only have an iPhone 16, get me the 17. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Sounds a wee bit like me as a child. Mummy.
But you know what? In saying that, such good kids.
Yeah. Oh, stop. Well, do you know what? I just want to say, by the way, I am so happy that you have finally came on. Is there anything, by the way, that we need to promote here? This is the main episode. Anything to promote? Anything coming up fight wise? You know, we can't put the link in the bio, girl. Like, you know, but they know where to get. They know where to find you. If they want to look for trouble, they'll know where to find you. But is there any fights coming up or anything?
So I'll be fighting in the summer.
Okay.
So Bare Knuckle is coming maybe to Belfast.
Okay.
We don't know yet. It's coming to Ireland.
Okay.
It hasn't been announced. Nothing's been sort of put forward yet. Ryan is signing with BKFC, so he's going to be fighting soon in May. And then I'll be fighting here as long as I can get an opponent that's small enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be fighting here.
Oh my God.
As for porn, I've went back into the industry. I took off obviously for fighting. But I'm back now. I'm working.
Yeah.
I was working with Manuel Ferreira. Now I have like Kieran Lee lined up.
Okay.
I think Danny D wants to do a scene. So yeah, there's quite a bit.
So there's a lot of big names in the industry.
A lot of big names. Only the big names. I'm only sort of working with big names.
So you're now thinking in regards to that part of your career.
Yeah.
It's very much you're trying to think. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to be winning awards by next year.
Yeah.
You know, at the AVNs.
Oh my God. Is there a bucket list?
Johnny
Yeah.
Sins, I've already done Manuel for it. Charles Dara.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody know him?
Don't know. I've heard of Johnny Sins before.
Johnny Sins. So we've been we've been messaging literally since I started the industry. He was my
Okay.
first that said yeah.
Okay.
So I messaged him, was like, can we work together? And he was like, yeah, 100%.
Oh my gosh, right.
Because he followed me and I was like, oh my god, I need to message him.
Uh-huh.
So there's Charles Dara, there is J Mac. I mean, it's all the big names in America
Yeah.
that I want to work with. So
Oh my god, stateside,
Yeah,
baby. She's gonna be the
absolutely.
next Janet Jameson.
I should know that we used to message on Twitter when I was like 16.
Janet Jameson.
We used to slap her about her ex.
Really?
Because he had the kids.
She was such a rock
She
star
was
though.
mad
Like
as fuck. I loved
and
it.
she really reached like the most iconic,
Yeah.
you know, like
She was
she's like the
porn,
the
yeah.
queen of porn, I
Mhm.
suppose, and like
Big
Tara
time.
Patrick, and there's so
Yeah.
many big names, and the thing is as well, it's like it's like every career, like say we all have these things we want to do, like say I want to do that fight, or I want to fight against
Yeah.
this opponent, or
Yeah.
I want to do this scene with this guy, or I'm like, right, I want to collaborate with this person, or I want to do this show or whatever,
Yeah.
and we've all these different goals, and it's just so exciting, you know, to see you go for them.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best with that. Like next
Thank
year,
you, Jen.
awards, right? Okay, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
but
Manifested it.
We'll leave a link to your socials. So the socials will be in the description. You know, we'll just the Instagram's
Yeah.
there. You know,
You can find me.
You know, there's what's that? You know, go through the
links.
Yeah,
The
all
link,
the,
link me.
the call to action. It's you know, you'll find your way. You know, if you want to find the wholesome, you can find it. If you want to find the trouble, you can find it. If you want to fight the fighting content, you can find it as well.
Yeah.
But Megan, I'm so glad that we finally got to do this. I'm really, really glad that we've got to have a female Sean on from the industry and give their point of view.
I'm so much more educated and better than Andy too.
Stop it. I love Andy. You
Andy's
leave.
fighting soon.
Yes, that's right.
He's
Yes.
fighting soon.
Uh-huh. That's gonna be a
I'm
big
actually-
one.
Yes, I'm called on to commentate in that.
Really?
Yeah, they want me to commentate, so I'm guest commentator for that.
Commentate or commentate?
Commentator.
Oh right.
So we're
Yes.
sitting-
Oh, she didn't get it.
That's a great. What do you mean?
It was an innuendo.
See, it just goes over
you see
your
it
head.
goes
I'm
over
just
your
not-
head.
I'm just not dirty minded.
We're Sean. We need to get a life. So right, you're commentating at it then, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll be like, hit him, Andy.
Oh my God! Right.
That's a good one. Fucking go again, mate. Knock him out. That's my. Oh, I hate when people are in the crowd and they're going,
Oh my God.
knock him out. And
Right.
I'm going, I'm trying.
Stop. Do you know what I've always said? This is like you know when we're talking about bucket lists, this is like a bucket list moment of mine. It's so tacky, right? But it's maybe not. It's kind of
Let
I
me
don't know
guess.
if it can happen or not. What?
Ring girl.
Yes. A ring girl.
I spend way too much time with you.
There's no me like the back of your hand. I see if you're fighting. Can I be like your ring girl?
Oh my God, I
Honestly,
would love that.
I've always wanted to be a ring girl.
Oh, my God, I would love that. You can walk me out. Do you know I could actually have you at my
No,
presser? I could have you at the presser.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm down.
See, a snake.
And like, can I be like the next porno? Even like if it's fake taxi, can I be like the taxi driver that just gets out? Like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Like, I'm not doing the porn. I'm maybe just like what, and like get jumps out.
Oh my God. What are you
It's-
doing with that?
Look, guys, we're gonna leave it there. But look, you know, I'm feeling a wee bit naughty. It's gonna get a wee bit naughtier over on our Patreon. So look, if you ever needed a reason to subscribe to our Patreon, this is the time now. We're gonna play a few wee games, any kind of dilemmas. You know, this has been a very
Collab.
open conversation. A collab could be happening over there. Who knows? Scissor Sisters. It's all going to be happening over on our Patreon. So we'll leave a link to there as well. And then we've got Megan's socials in the description. Megan, thank you so much. Any last words?
I just thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I
I know
love
you've
it.
been a
Yeah.
dream. You've really been a dream. Right, guys, thank you so much for listening and have a great day.